Today, I'm going to talk about emotions, what they are, what their purpose is, and how they help us in our everyday life. Hi guys, and welcome to the Art of Wellbeing. My name's Dwayne. I've decided to start this channel because I feel like I've got something to say, because I feel like I've gained a lot of knowledge and some skill and just some awareness that might be useful for other people. I know it's important that everybody finds their own path and learns things their own way, but I've learned from so many others as well. I've learned from so many people and books and, of course, experiences and situations. But I just feel that sometimes it's really good to have a shortcut. Sometimes you really hear something that's inspiring, or you hear something that just puts that piece of puzzle in and helps you out. Yeah. I just hope it'll help. I hope that some of these insights and some of these exercises, some of these techniques will be helpful and will put that little piece of puzzle in for you and help you on your journey. So join me on a journey of discovery of the art of well-being. Well-being being everything, your life, what you're doing in your life and how you're doing it so that it makes you ultimately happy and joyful. Let's start with the foundation idea of why we exist here. All you really need to consider is that you're connected to your universal self. You're a part of your universal self having experiences in this playground that we know as our physical reality or Earth. You've been here many times before and you'll probably be here many times again. So your universal self is, people call it your higher self, your inner self, your soul, your spirit, and you're here to experience things, identify what you like and don't like, and make decisions based on your thoughts and feelings. Decisions that will make your stay, your life, your experiences better for you. You've had many past experiences. They're all done and dusted. What you learned from those past experiences has been gathered and saved by your universal self. You don't need to learn the same things over in order to grow. You might do something again so that you can change your decisions about it though. What you've learned is unique and specific to you, nobody else. So what you need to experience now in order to grow is also unique to you and nobody else. What you need to experience and learn in order to grow as a spiritual being is not defined by our understanding of moral codes, interpersonal ethics, levels of compassionate behavior, or the like. These are our earthly perceptions. Our pathway to spiritual growth is in experiencing the almost infinite experiences in infinitely varied situations and experiencing the ones that bring us joy. Our spirit or universal self is purely positive, unconditionally loving, and infinitely considerate and compassionate. And here lies the basis for our understanding of what comprises our earthly journey. Now, on Earth, you want to have new experiences so that you can move forward and grow. And that's why you're here, in the playground. No karma, no debts, no payback, no guilt. You want to move forward, of course. You want opportunities to grow. The whole purpose of being here on Earth is to engage in new experiences that are provided by the unique circumstances inherent in right here, right now. So this place provides opportunities and experiences like no other. You're a part of a unique and individual entity. You sent a part of yourself to this playground to explore, discover, experience, and grow in your own unique way. Your universal self has sent you on this journey. Your universal self is connected to everything that you experience. After all, your universal self is you. A larger part of you, just in, let's say it's like it's living in another dimension. The universal self can be like a body, a person, and you're the big toe, and it's kind of pop that big toe into a pond to discover what it's like in there. Your universal self is collecting everything that you experience. That's a major reason for your journey here. This physical reality offers unique opportunities and unique environments. And you can be involved in these experiences and grow by making decisions based on how you want to change your current situation to make it better so that you feel more joy. Many people feel that there must be a particular, specific, and prearranged purpose to our visit here, partly because we see other people with awesome purposes that seem so special and meaningful. So most of us want to know our purpose as well. We find it comforting also and often assign great meaning to having a purpose, especially when that purpose aligns with our heartfelt likes and our passions. Knowing what this purpose is seems to be, to many of us, largely elusive. And many of us spend a lifetime or a great deal of it searching for our unique purpose, sometimes never to find that specific single role meant for us. Little do most of us know, though, that our purpose lies in our everyday actions, the decisions that we make, and the choices that we make, all from the many and varied experiences that form the foundation and substance of the learning, growing, and expanding that we came here to do. Sometimes, if the everyday actions that we love to perform coagulate into a profession or a specific job description, a hobby, or even an activity or sport, then it's easy for us to identify with that in our structured and organized society and state it as our special and individual purpose. And indeed, this is the case. It's just lucky that the growth that you have come here to achieve happens to be a job description or an activity or a business idea that can be largely comprehended at this time in history. Otherwise, it can be very confusing, difficult, or frustrating looking for our purpose, especially when our everyday joys don't come together into an already organized, package, accredited, and socially justified profession or job description. Our purpose is in our everyday choices and our actions, as long as those choices and actions are aligned with our wants, our desires, our goals, and our dreams that we came here to achieve. But we don't remember the reason why we chose to come here. So how can we know what we want? What should we do or shouldn't do in order to learn and grow, progress, and move forward? Well, being aware of what we came here to learn and a knowledge of our past experiences would help us to make faster and more accurate choices that are appropriate for our individual growth, but having all that past life knowledge would be very overwhelming. So to help you to know if you're on the right path, so to speak, with all the wants, desires, and goals that you made coming into this experience of life, your universal self lets you know if you're moving towards those goals and that life learning, or if you're moving away from them. The connection to your universal self provides a direct link for communication to you. Your universal self responds to the situations that you're experiencing. You have constant and direct messages from your universal self flowing to you in the form of your emotions. For the myriad of situations and experiences that we can be involved in, and the huge variation of choices that we're offered within those experiences that may or may not help us on our path, it's nearly impossible to navigate by using our own personal judgment or logic to determine if what we're doing right now is part of our appropriate growth. And also if any decision would make us or put us or move us in the right direction for our individual unique growth. Making this kind of decision based on our current human thoughts, on our logic and our knowledge, would prove to be a monumental or insurmountable task. So it's got to be easy for us to get the message from our universal self and interpret it, comprehend it, understand it, and act upon it in order for it to be effective and useful in lighting the way for our best path of spiritual learning, to push us towards our spiritual development. What a task for a message system that would be. Quick, concise, clear, and accurate, not to mention completely personalized. Doesn't that sound like emotions to you? We really need to break that down further. Emotions are complex and difficult to understand, aren't they? There must be a way to simplify interpreting our emotions. When we boil down our emotions, we can see that they fall into just two categories: emotions that feel better or emotions that feel worse. We can call them positive emotions for the ones that make us feel good and negative emotions for the ones that make us feel bad. Oh my God, we're robots. It sounds like a computer, right? Doesn't that sound awfully like ones and zeros, the digital language? Are we just following a universal binary code? Well, I guess in a way we are, and that's why it works so well for computers as well. It's either a yes or a no, and then a decision based on that. Okay, so we have our own unique and individual directional guidance system, direct from our universal self. We can break it down to one of two messages. If what you're experiencing or what you're expecting feels a little better, then that's the direction to follow towards your own unique inner hopes and spiritual goals. The ones that you wanted when you decided to come to this sandbox and the ones that you've decided to reach for while you're here. Conversely, if what you're experiencing, what you are expecting feels a little worse, then that's the direction not to follow towards your hopes and spiritual goals and spiritual growth. Remember, this communication is for you alone. It's your unique connection. Therefore, any other guidance directed to you must be considered by you first with respect to how you feel about that guidance. And again, after your consideration, your emotions will light the way for you. The key here is to be clear about what you're thinking or about the influence that you're receiving. The thought inspires the emotion, and that's your answer regarding that clear thought. There's an important aside here. Some of the rules that we live by in our family, society, country may conflict with our personal choices and direction towards our spiritual goals. But these rules need to be considered just the same, because they're often rules to keep us safe in this world or provide us with the tools and skills that we need to survive and flourish in the world. As well as knowing what you do want, you often know what you don't want. And this is also a good indicator because it allows you to make a decision based on the way that you feel. You don't want something because it feels worse to you, so that guides you to make a decision to look somewhere else for what you do want. It's an interesting concept to consider and appreciate that our emotions are not from our little human body or our brain or gut or our big toe. Our emotions are an amazingly simple and clear message from our universal self. Think about their origin and occurrence in your life. Were you taught emotions? Did you have them at birth? How did you learn to interpret them? How did we learn to express them? They make us feel a particular way, so that could be helpful. As it turns out, it is. So what happens then when we follow our messages from our universal self? Well, at least we feel a little better because we've made a decision that feels better emotionally. If we accept the premise that our universal self is guiding us towards our hopes and our dreams and our spiritual growth, then if we follow that guidance, we'll be moving in the right direction to connect with and experience those hopes and dreams and spiritual goals. So we have a guidance system that we can base decisions on. It's immediate, instant, universal, and applicable to any situation. So where do I go from here? Wherever I am right now, wherever that is, how do I proceed? Because I'm set and ready to receive my messages. So I look out into my sandbox world and I start to think, what do I want? Without moving from my comfy chair, how can I get a message about what direction to point and how to start? Luckily, thoughts inspire your emotions, the same as physical experiences do. Thoughts get answers from your universal self just the same. Think as realistically as you can about holding a worm and putting that worm in your mouth. Well, I think most of us receive the same message without actually having to engage in that experience. We know whether we want to do it based on the feeling we felt or the message that we received. Let's take a more complex example. You're going to a job interview for a job that you really, really want. You're excited. This is a better feeling message, telling you that it's the right path for you. You're also feeling nervous and stressed. These are worse feeling messages. So does that mean that it's also not the right path for you? How do you know what is the right emotion to follow? So what is actually happening is that the feelings of nervousness are the doubting thoughts and the insecure thoughts that you're having about either the interview, the job, or something related to this activity. So your universal self is giving you the message that doubting yourself and fearing failure are thoughts that point you or guide you in the wrong direction from your desires, your dreams, your goals, and your growth. The worst feeling emotion is essentially a message from your universal self, telling you to be confident and trust yourself. Your universal self isn't telling you that this is the wrong job choice for you, just that some of your thoughts go against who you really are, and the message is to stop thinking that way. It's not good for you. This all did sound strange to me at first, especially the part about emotions coming directly to us from our universal selves, rather than an organic creation of my own emotion from my emotion gland in my brain or something. I must say, though, it has helped me to look more deeply at my emotions and what they're telling me rather than being a slave to them. Sometimes I find myself digging a little deeper into my thoughts than I usually would to find the thoughts that triggered that emotion. But it has been enlightening to do that, and surprising at times when I realize that it was just a fleeting thought or even a trigger that brought forth a thought that then triggered the emotion. But there is one thing for sure that I've found to be 100% of the time, and that is I always find that the exact emotion or feeling that I felt in the first place is definitely connected to a thought. Try it for yourself. Follow those thoughts that you were thinking when you felt the emotion, and if it isn't obvious, it will be at some point in that long thought chain. Okay, here's an exercise to practice this process. Start a daydream, give yourself a good opportunity to get creative. Then when you wake yourself up out of your daydream, follow the thought chain that led you from where you finished the daydream to the very beginning. Don't get too freaked out though, that's what's supposed to happen. It's a daydream and you'll probably be quite surprised. But it's a great exercise in following your connected thoughts, and this is how you follow your thoughts to find the source of the emotional trigger. The point being to identify the thought that is pointing you in the wrong direction and then decide not to point that way. Make a conscious decision whether to keep thinking those thoughts or whether to change your thoughts and move in a direction that makes you feel better and elicits better emotions. Okay, that's a lot of information for one chat. And these are potentially new and strange concepts for you to consider, so let's leave it here for now. So what I'd like to do now is give you some simple, actionable exercises to help you consciously link thoughts to emotions and use that feedback for decision making. You can find these links in the description. There's 4 exercises, so give them a try, and you might be surprised. The goal of these exercises is to build conscious, deliberate awareness of the cause and effect link between the thought you think and the emotion you feel. And then to interpret that emotion as a simple yes, this thought is useful, or no, this thought is not useful for my unique path. Let me tell you how I feel this, and it might help you to recognize your unique guidance. If I'm making a decision, even one like where do I want to go for coffee this morning, or a much bigger decision, I look inside myself and I ask, which choice gives me the most aliveness? So my body feels aliveness. It's just like more joy. Which do I feel more excited about? Which do I feel more energetic or alive about? Oh yeah, I'll go there, or oh, that feels better. Irrespective of any of the logic that's going on in my brain at the time. So the aliveness that I feel is an easy way to define the yes or the no, because sometimes it's a bit hard to tell which is the best option, especially on small, insignificant questions. So remember, this understanding is a gentle, ongoing practice, a conversation with your universal self. There's no need for perfect execution. Even the simple act of noticing the thought-emotion link begins to transform your relationship with your own experience.